This one's fun. It's tips, tricks, and treats. Today is October 20th, 2023, Jock Huddle number 26. Welcome aboard. Everybody's looking great in your costumes. So let's get this Halloween-themed Jock Huddle started. See what I did there? So today's agenda, it's of course me, Jeremy Gummeljack, your system-wide construction manager here. I'm actually at the Chancellor's office today. I got a Jock project I'm working on, so I'm project managing and doing my huddle today. We'll do introductions. We'll talk about labor hours and expectation management, DVB requirements on regional jocks, the DVB exemption form, and then we'll open it up to questions and answers. Awesome. Good seeing everybody today. So very excited. I bid out new jock regional contracts for the northern and southern campuses. We're going to add 13 general contractors within the next couple of weeks. Very excited about that. I know there's some familiar names of contractors on here, but there's some new names and some new contractors involved. So we're pretty excited about that. So stay tuned. I'll send out emails, and I'll probably announce the next Jock Huddle too, but I'll send out emails with all these new contracts that you can use in the northern or southern campuses for your general regional contracts. So I want to introduce our new member from Gordian. Tomiko, I just saw you changed your name, which is awesome. But would you like to introduce yourself?
I would. Hi, everybody. I promise you I'm not going to look this cool the next time you see me, okay? This is the coolest you'll ever see. Okay. My name is Tomiko Gutierrez. I am the new regional director for California statewide programs at Gordian, which now is going to encompass the higher education platform. So I'm very, very excited. I've been with the company for 7 years. I've been a regional director for this last year and started as an account manager. So I definitely know what it's like to work with the individual campuses. When I first started with Gordian, I actually used to be in charge of Cal State LA and Cal State Channel Islands. So very excited to be back with the higher ed team. And my background is in commercial roofing. I did that for 7.5 years. So I pretty much can geek out about anything roofing related. So if any of you ever have a roofing project that you would like to discuss in detail, please contact me and we can do so. And then I moved over to general jock construction, and I did that for 6 years before I came over to Gordian. So I am very, very excited to be a part of this first Jock Huddle. This is new for me. And the fact that we got to dress up, I love it. I am definitely a comic nerd. So this was just like a regular old little outfit I had laying around. And I love, love, love Halloween. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm happy to see faces and costumes and meet everybody.
Well, as the king would say, thank you. Thank you very much. I had to.
You had to. I love it.
Thank you so much. We're very excited to have you on board at the CSU as the new regional director for California State University. So very excited to meet with you and start visiting campuses coming up here pretty soon. So stay tuned. We'll most likely be visiting your campus within the next few months to 6 months or so. So thank you. So I want to draw in Cynthia, or the boy who lived. Very nice there, Harry Potter. So Cynthia and I are going to be running through potential how you could use Jock for potential labor projects. So there's a few different scenarios we're just going to kind of lay out. A lot of these items, they're all in the book and the construction task catalog that Gordian's provided to us. And they're pretty easy to look up in the Gordian Cloud. So let's go through a couple of scenarios where you could actually use labor to get through your Jock project. So in scenario one, that projects that might not be able to be completed by your facilities staff, you can actually just make sure, again, don't forget the 3 R's. I think I've kind of drilled them into everybody's head so many times. Jock projects really should only be for repair, renovation, or repetitive tasks. If you're gonna kind of go outside of those limits, it's not really a Jock project. The SUAM and Public Contract Code says that we need to do it. We need to do all of our Jock projects by unit prices, and they have to be repair, renovation, or repetitive tasks. But in this scenario, if a project cannot be completed by campus or facility staff, you want to make sure you've got project plans and permits have been issued. A lot of times we're finding at some campuses that the projects weren't permitted and nobody really knows what happened on the project. So make sure you've got plans, make sure that those plans have been fully vetted and reviewed. So the time frame for this is averaged 45 to 60 days, and they should be treated as a normal job order. So the boy that lived, do you have anything that you want to add on that one?
No, I think you hit it spot on that one. This is just meant to kind of open a broader scope of jobs that may ordinarily not seem typical to Jock, but just to let you know that there is, additional support there. Yep. in other aspects of work that you guys can do on campus.
For sure. Let's take a look at scenario number 2. So these are maintenance tasks that can't be completed by campus facilities tasks. So again, with the repair, renovation, or repetitive tasks. So maybe you're changing out quite a few hundreds of air filters or light fixtures. You could treat this as a normal job order, and you could actually have you could have a job contractor come in and do, a number of tasks, maybe on a part-time level, but you could also have them kind of come in as a full-time supplemental. But what's important if you're gonna have them come in and do tasks like this is to establish the relationship and establish knowledge of your campus and the different buildings. You probably don't want your job contractor in your physical plant. That doesn't seem like a good idea. But these would be easy tasks. These would be more like handyman type tasks. If you couldn't get if you needed help or you needed support already on your campus. But don't forget that this time frame is based on the contractor's availability. So there's plenty of job contractors out there, but some of them are already all bogged down with projects or on such. So make sure you establish a relationship with that job contractor if you want to use them in a project like scenario number 2. So Harry Potter, you got anything you want to add there?
I can't emphasize how important it is, though, on these types of jobs to treat them as a normal job order, right? We still need a proper scope of work. Still need to make sure we request that proposal and get proper documentation throughout the life cycle of the job. So again, even if you are going to be doing this for labor support, it's important that, especially with these kinds of jobs, that we have a proper scope in hand to support that labor.
So on this, I would highly recommend, if not even just require, that time and materials tags be issued. So the job contractor isn't coming at you in the end and being like, oh, well, we worked on this, that, and the other thing. Well, no, there's no time and materials tag. And even if they produce it, I would require that the campus has to approve that time and materials tag before that work is approved, right? Before we can pay them. So that's something else to keep in mind. So it doesn't, your job contractor doesn't go wild and start trying to fix everything on your campus and overcharge you for whatever. Scenario number 3, and this is actually kind of what I'm dealing with right now here at the Chancellor's office. That's why I've been here for the past 2 days. An immediate response task that cannot be completed by campus facility staff. So I will give you, I will let you know what happened here the past couple of days because it's a great example. If anybody's been to the Chancellor's office, we have an eyebrow on the building. It's like a facade panel. Well, it came loose. And it looked like it was actually going to fall off of our building. Well, the big problem is that it was 87 feet up. Okay. And we weren't comfortable with our facility staff, tying off and getting out there to repair it. So I had a job contractor come out. I called them yesterday morning. We walked it yesterday afternoon, and this morning they're about halfway through the repair now. And I mean, it's pretty far up. I mean, I was on the edge, and it's 87 feet down. So we were not comfortable handing that off to our facility staff. So again, I kind of treated that like don't forget what immediate response was. I gave them the highest premium possible to come out and fix this as soon as possible because it's a life safety issue. So again, is this a true emergency defined by SUAM? Is it a repair, renovation, or repetitive task? You could still also, if it's a true emergency, there are some emergency contractors that are available to help out with this as well. But don't forget, it is all still based on contractors' availability and having that relationship with your jock contractor. Cynthia, or sorry, Harry, do you have anything you want to add on that one?
Thank you so much. The one thing I will note on this is that it's important to always hit pause at the point that the immediate response portion of work is over, and that in itself is considered a job. Once you get into the actual repair work, and then that's considered a separate job order. But it's important to always hit that pause on the immediate response portion of the work so you can capture just that portion of the work retroactively rather than continuing with the second phase of work.
Thank you very much for that reminder, because there's a clear line that needs to be defined when that emergency or immediate response stops, and when does the construction or build back.
I have a quick question. Has anybody on the call run any specific type of jobs given these three scenarios? Can anybody provide an example of work that they've done recently or in years past using one of these three scenarios? And I'm just checking to make sure everybody's awake.
I have, but it wasn't for the CSU. We used an electrical jock for a fallen electrical pole, and they were able to come and repair it, or at least get it to the place where it was no longer an emergency.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback on what Britton's saying is actually the crew is up there working right now to stabilize and secure the panel. It's not going to be a permanent fix. We're going to do a study on those panels and see kind of what the deal is with them. This building's over 20 years old, and I think and maybe this one panel just came loose, but the build back work will be with someone else. Actually, it'll probably end up being a collaborative design build because I'm not quite sure a jock contractor could be savvy enough to inspect and repair. So just definitely something to keep in mind there.
Yeah, and it's okay to do that, to switch contractors once the immediate response portion of the work has been completed. It's okay to switch off to someone else who's a little bit more savvy and can take on the actual renovation portion of the work.
Correct. Cool. Any more comments on the potential labor projects through jock? Cool. We'll have question and answer time at the end too. So. Mm-hmm. So DVBE requirements on regional jocks. I've gotten so many emails about this in the past couple of months. I thought that we should definitely bring it up. Cynthia, do you want to talk about the table that we're looking at here?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is an excerpt from the system, actually from Gordian Cloud. This is all of the existing contractors on the regional jock that are in the system. We've gone in and listed out their contract effective dates, their expiration dates, but more importantly, their DVBE requirements. The thing you'll notice is that not everybody's at the 3%. Some of our contractors did go ahead and go in for the incentive at the 6%. So those contractors especially, we need to make sure that we're following up with them to make sure that they're meeting not only the minimum 3% requirement, but that additional 3 on top of that for the total of 6%. So in the South, we have SJD&B who's opted for the incentive at 6%. So they should not be meeting the 3%. They should be meeting the 6%. Same thing for Xbon on the roofing contract in the South. King's Roofing in the North, best contracting roofing in the South. It looks like HHJ is also down in the South with the 6% incentive. Xbon Roofing in the North. Vincor is doing 3%, so that's still just a minimum requirement. But we do have KLD opting for the incentive at 6%. Xbon, their HVAC contract in the North is at 6%, as well as MEC, their hazmat in the South. Outback has a paving contract in the North at 6% as well. So all of the contracts by technicality do have a minimum 3% that they're required to adhere to. But again, those specific contractors, it's important when you're engaging with them on the regional jock that you just be aware that they do have a little bit more than just the 3% that they have to meet. And I would go so far as to say is to double check your campus contracts, because the same can be true on your campus contracts as well. Some of these contractors might not be doing just the 3%, and it's important that they meet that all the way through to the 6. And this is on the cycle of the contract. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. So just to kind of tag on with Harry Potter, I can't help myself.
I feel like I should be wearing my hat, you guys.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. To kind of tag on to that. So when we're saying like right up here at SJD&B, so they're actually working on the eyebrow today. So overall contract, they have to meet the 6%. But what if you on your campus, what if you want that 6%? Make sure that you put it in your detailed scope of work. Make sure you're telling the contractor, I know you're supposed to the contractor, I know you're working to meet it for the system wide contract, but I want it here. I want my 6% right now. And you can work with the contractor because I know every campus has different or they're trying to achieve their DVB requirements. So make sure that you're crystal clear with your contractor and it's stated in your detailed scope of work that you want to make sure that they meet that DVB requirement. Cool. All right. The DVB exemption form. Okay, so this form was created by me and Kevin, and I'm a big fan of the form if it's legitimate. So if you're working on a project and it's just not possible to meet the DVB, that there's no way. Maybe it's a I'm trying to think of a very specific, maybe it's like a datacom replacement where you're replacing cables and you cannot find a DVB on the website. Your contractor saying I can't find anybody to do this work. Well, that's where you can use the DVB exemption form. But it's important that you make your contractor jump through every hoop to try to find a DVB contractor. And in the form, you can actually look through it and you can see they ask you to list where the websites that you looked at and to make sure that you've really vetted everything through. Now, once that form's completed and the contractor submits it back to you, just make sure that the director and procurement have approved it and signed off, because you don't want to, as a project manager or as a construction manager, you don't want to just do this form single-handedly and expect nobody else to look at it. It needs to be approved by your department head, and it needs to be mentioned to the contracts and procurement. Because if they're expecting the DVB and they don't get it, everybody's going to kind of be disappointed. Cynthia, you got anything to add on this one? Sorry, Harry. Keep doing that. Harry.
Yeah. So we've given a couple of examples here of scenarios that we might run into that would be okay to use the DVB exemption form. Think of jobs where there is an immediate need, right? We have a really quick turnaround on this job. We have to get it within spring break. It's a week and we're 3 weeks out from it. So there's not really time to really vet all the subcontractor possibilities. Think smaller dollar value jobs. Anything below a certain, it's at your campus's discretion, but pick a threshold that you think is okay for them to bypass that. Please note that the director and procurement need to have signed off on this before anything else can proceed. But make sure that you're verifying that your contractor is already meeting or exceeding their DVB overall contract requirement, right? So the DVB requirement is on the overall agreement, that's 6% or 3% or whatever in between that they've chosen to opt for. That is on the overall agreement. So make sure that they're already in good standing. They probably shouldn't be getting an exemption form if they're at 0% and they're in month 9 of their contract.
Yeah, if this is their first project, it's pretty much unacceptable.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Or if, as Jeremy mentioned, there's no other subcontractor alternative.
Yeah.
But make sure that, more importantly, make sure that procurement has signed off, the director has signed off, and make sure that they are in good standing before you give them this pass on the job. And make sure that they're aware that they're still going to be required to meet it on future jobs.
And this form should be completed with all of your other your work order proposal. It shouldn't be done after the fact. Doing it after the fact that's not going to work at all. You want it done before the work's been completed, before the NTP has been signed, any of that stuff. It should not be done after the fact. And it's kind of a last resort too. It's put in there as a safety to make sure that to hold the contractor accountable for their DVB requirement, and to make sure that your campus projects are still moving, that they're just not stopped completely.
And we do have a question in the chat real quick. What is the threshold to be considered a smaller dollar value job? That's completely at the campus's discretion. Typically, I would say if it's 20K or under, sometimes even 50K or under, it's going to be harder to find those DVBE subs. But a lot of the times it's not an excuse, because most smaller businesses do tend to be DVBE. They have their own requirements that they're trying to meet to make them a little bit more diverse. So it's completely at your discretion.
Cool. Excellent. Joshua, thank you so much for that question. All right, Harry, here comes the exciting part here comes the treat. Or is it the trick? What are we doing here?
This is the treat portion, guys. So nice. Pop quiz. But it is a fun one, I promise, guys.
It is a fun one. But there's gifts too, right? If you're the first to get it right.
So we have a couple of questions, you guys, just to make sure that you guys were awake. But this month we're doing it a little bit different. We do have some prizes. I know you guys love the Gordian squishy blocks. I couldn't get you guys some this time, but I did get some cool flashlights.
Ooh. Just in time for trick or treating.
Just in time for trick or treating. So you will get a flashlight, a Gordian pen. But more importantly, guys, you get your choice of a king size candy bar. Okay.
Ooh.
So just making sure everybody's awake. A couple of questions here, guys.
Okay. So here's the drill. So we're going to pop that question up on the screen. The first person to answer correctly is going to win one of these lovely prizes. Are we ready to do this, Harry?
I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, hopefully they're ready. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's go. What is the minimum DVB requirement on campus contracts? Is it A, 6%, B, 3%, C, at campus discretion, D, 2%?
B, 3%.
Oh, you got to type it in the
Oh.
Awesome.
Everybody locked in? All right.
Locked in, guys.
It was B. And the winner is
Rockstar Elephant, CSU LA. I'll have to figure out who that is.
Who is Rockstar Elephant anyway? You want to let us know who you are?
They're waving, but they're on mute.
Oh, sure.
Awesome. So can you drop in the chat your favorite candy bar, and I'll make sure that we include that with your flashlight and pen to ship out over to Cal State LA. Rockstar. Awesome.
Excellent. So here comes the next question, everyone. Get ready. Campus can run T&M projects through a job. True or false?
Oh, wow. These are going fast.
I know. People want that. That's legit right there. Oh.
Ooh.
First of all, very clever with what did the fox say? That's a very good one there, by the way.
That's a good one.
All right, everybody's locked in. Let's do this. It's true.
All right. First one to answer looks like Joshua Maddox.
Yay.
You are correct. Go ahead and drop your favorite candy bar in the chat.
Kind of want a candy bar now, but all right. Everybody, I know. Everybody get ready. Here we go. Last question. If your contractor filled out a DVB exemption form, they do not need to meet the overall contract requirement. True or false? All right. I'm getting some good answers here.
Good.
Everybody knows what they're doing. All right. Everybody locked in?
Looks like we're locked.
Locked in. And it's false.
And Jillian over at CSUB, you were the first one. Awesome. Go ahead and drop your favorite candy bar in the chat. And we do have one more, guys.
Oh, I thought we only did 3. You did a bonus question?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Excellent. Bonus question, everybody.
This is
when reviewing a price proposal, what document should the contractor submit? A, price proposal. B, subcontractor listing. C, DVBE documentation. D, revised scope of work. E, A, B, and C, or F, all of the above. All right, I'm getting some good answers here. Everybody locked in? We good? All right. E, A, B, and C.
And this was a tricky one because if you gotta read what Part D is saying, a revised scope of work. Ideally, the contractor shouldn't be sending you the revised scope of work when they're submitting over their price proposal. They probably shouldn't be revising the scope.
Right. So who was the winner on that one, Harry?
All right. Looks like on that one, it was... Nope. E, so it looks like Cal Maritime, Keelhauler, Lori Keelhauler.
Nice. Congratulations, Lori. That's excellent news. Well, thank you everybody for playing. That was a lot of fun. And now we've come up to the very fun time of questions and answers. So you guys can ask questions about anything we talked about today or any other jock type concerns you have. Just throw them up there in the chat.
People are doing that. I'm going to start jotting down people's candy bar orders here so I can pop them in the mail for you.
Excellent. It seems like we don't have any questions.
Wow. Did we do that good?
I know. Ed's got to work on his costume for next year, though. Well, guys, thank you very much for attending today's Jock Huddle number 26. Lots of fun, lots of tricks and treats. And I appreciate all of you guys staying involved. Got some upcoming training sessions right here at Cal State University Long Beach. We're having the 2023 Law of Design and Construction. It's 2 days. If you've never been before, highly recommend this one. I'm actually instructing a little bit on day one. Very, very good if you haven't, good to attend if you haven't attended before. If you can attend, we do actually have it online. Just send me an email and I can get you some online resources if you can't make it. But we would love to have you at Cal State Long Beach for the Law of Design and Construction. Coming up on, go ahead. There's a question there. I don't think there was a question. Just coming up on December 1st, we're going to start a construction management affinity group, Huddle number 1. So you guys are familiar with these jock huddles. It's all internal. It's just CSU campuses. We're going to start talking about not only jock, collaborative design, build, construction management at risk. We're going to talk about all sorts of construction management needs. We'll do a few slides. It's going to be a similar format to the jock huddle, but it's going to be much more outreaching to CMAG. So we're going to start doing those every other month. We're still going to meet in person at least once or twice a year, but we're hoping that the huddles kind of bring us all together and collaborate and do the, as Kevin Lout says, the honeybee approach. Don't forget, you can view all previous jock huddles, Construction Management 101, CM at Risk, and C Collaborative Design Build at CSU Learn. If you need to know where to find all those, send me an email. I can send you the link. But there's a lot of great information on there, as well as many of the jock huddles we've done in the past. So thanks for attending, everybody. Happy Halloween, and congratulations to all of our winners. And have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks.
Happy Halloween, guys.